Hi, everyone that's joined. I see we've already got a number of people joining already. Feel free to chime in on the chat window, say hi, introduce yourself, or leave any questions that you may have on there. We'll get going right at the top of the hour, just another 2 minutes or so. And I'll repeat that again once we get started, but feel free to leave your questions in the chat window. Okay, good morning, all. Good afternoon. It's actually right at 12 noon. So we're going to go ahead and start. This webinar is not intended to take a long time, but I wanted to be able to have the opportunity to talk to you about the 2026 Collin County real estate stats, just to kind of give you an update on that. I think it's important that we understand the context of what's happening in the market as we're contemplating any type of real estate moves, whether that's a buy, sell, or an investment opportunity. We've got a good group of people on here, so I'm sure there are going to be some questions. This is a webinar, so you'll not be able to ask your questions through the audio microphone, but rather in the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat window and make sure that I address those questions either as I'm presenting or at the end. We'll have a Q&A period, and I'll be able to address them then. So let me go ahead and share my screen. There's some slides I'd like to share with you. Okay, you should be able to see those now. Um, so Oops, I've started too far ahead. Let me back up a little bit. So again, I'm Bruce Walpole from the Walpole Realty Group. We're going to be talking about Collin County's real estate market and what's happening in the market, and maybe what home buyers or sellers would need to know in this market. So currently, I think the key message is that the market is balancing. We've come through a period in 2021, 22, and part of 23 where the market was hyper accelerated, I would say. Things were happening very quickly. Interest rates were very low. It was an abnormality that had never happened in the market before and isn't likely to happen in the market going forward. So we're returning to a balanced market. Some statistics that support that is the sale to list price ratio. This is what percentage of your list price are you going to get when you close on your property? It's currently running at 94.5%. So 94.5% of the list price on average is what the home actually closes for. In the month of December, we've seen an increase in our inventory. Inventory continues to increase. So it's currently increasing at 20%. And right now, we're seeing an average of 49 to 54 days to contract, or also called days on market. Easy numbers to remember, that's 50 to 55 days. So what do all these numbers mean? And I think that's what I'm trying to address for everyone. Is for buyers, this means that there's more choice. And gone are the days when we were in a high pressure situation. If you saw something you thought would likely work for you, you were impelled to put in an offer. and start the bidding wars. We have seen opportunities even in our own business back in 2022 where we saw more than 20 offers entered in on a home, sometimes up to 20 and 30 offers that would have to be sifted through to be able to find the winner. We don't see that rarely, extremely rarely anymore would we see many multiple offers on a home. It would have to be something that would be rather unique, maybe list priced it was extremely low for some reason. It means that the buyer has more time to make decisions in the marketplace, and so they can look at options. It also means that it's a healthy market, a return to normal for negotiation. And we're going to talk a little bit about that negotiation in a minute. But the one takeaway that I'd like you to take away from this slide is, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but you can't believe everything you see on TV. And so when they start talking about statistics and the real estate statistics and what's happening in real estate on TV, please know that they're talking about national statistics, and they will be very different than what we're experiencing here in North Dallas. Okay. So let's just touch on real estate for a moment. I'm not a mortgage person. Interest rates are not my area of expertise, but because interest rates, so go the interest rates, so goes real estate, we obviously have to keep an eye on them. So currently, our interest rates are hovering right around 6%. And that's 6% for people who have the best credit scores, the best credit history. We can get six, sometimes even just a whisker below six, but typically we're seeing interest rates right now between 6% and 6.5%, depending on the situation. That's expected to remain consistent through 2026. We don't expect massive uh, interest rate drops, even though the Fed chairman is expected to be replaced. Chairman Powell is expected to be replaced. In fact, they've named his successor already. That may have some impact, potentially short term, but in terms of planning purposes, everything that I'm reading, people a lot smarter than me are saying that you can bank on 6 to 6.5% through 2026. It's possible that we may see us go into the high fives either at various points throughout the year or even by the end of the year, but safe bet is between 6 and 6.5. So again, what do those numbers mean? It's really important not to get zeroed in and focused on the interest rate right now, because we don't expect to see large fluctuations in that. Instead, know what your interest rate is going to be, and then focus in on finding the right home for you. There are lots of inventory, as I said, so there's lots of options out there. So check those options out and understand what those are. Plan to refinance whenever you get an opportunity to refinance. Expect that you do that. That's a normal course of action over the course of a 30-year mortgage. Explore rate buy down options. These are options that are available to a home buyer to ask the seller for a concession that will allow them to buy down their interest rate. There's a number of different programs available and a number of different ways you can structure that. Any good mortgage person will be able to walk you through those. We know enough about them to be dangerous, but can speak to them. But uh, uh, get a good lender, and he would be able to find out what's best suited for you. And we can make some recommendations if you don't have a lender. And then consider your payment, your affordability over the actual price of the home. Make sure that you're comfortable getting into that home and what your payments are going to be before you jump in. Okay. So where are the opportunities in our market? Let's get specific about Collin County and where the opportunities are. First one I'll mention is new construction. Tremendous opportunities in new construction from a financial perspective. So there are a lot of builders in the outlying areas, because that's where they're building, that include the rate buy downs that I just spoke about. They'll include various home upgrades where they'll give you money to be able to upgrade your carpet, tile, some of the decor, whatever it is about the house. And then they'll give you closing cost assistance if you use their lender. And so these create tremendous opportunities financially for the buyer. These are in the outlying areas because that's where new building is happening. So places like Prosper, Salina, Melissa, Anna, these are places where builders are offering tremendous incentives. Now, what comes with that, just so that you're going in eyes wide open, is if you're in a commute situation where you work, possibly downtown or somewhere down near 635, you're in a commute situation. And that's something that you need to factor in to make sure that you're okay with that. In the resale market, in places like Allen, Plano, Frisco, and in McKinney, we've seen an increase in inventory in those areas, which is resulting in higher days on market, which results in motivated sellers. And in those areas, we're starting to see more and more concessions being given from the seller to be able to try and offer the same type of buy downs that we spoke about earlier and the same kind of buy downs that the new construction is offering. So there's opportunity there. Now, first-time home buyers, it's important to go out and explore the neighborhoods, understand what your commute situation is going to be like, look at all of the options, find out what you're comfortable with, make informed decisions. Don't feel the pressure of having to compete or jump into an offer too quickly. Make those informed decisions. Okay. Long-term, short-term investment. So, this is why our market is different than the national average. We've had 120 plus corporate relocations to DFW in the last 5 years. That's phenomenal. 120 corporate relocations in the past 5 years. That means that North Dallas and parts of DFW have consistent population growth, with which results in a strong real estate market. Since we have strong job market across many sectors, our market continues to be strong, and we're expecting somewhere between 1.5 and 3% annual appreciation in the price of your home. If you go back, I've gone back over the last 30 years, and I've actually plotted what the annual price increase on homes has been. Now, we've seen some blip in it, in 2021, 22, and 23. But on average, as you follow that line, it averages about 3% price increase. So again, this is another proof point that we are returning to normal. Now, the outlying parts of McKinney, Frisco, but certainly Princeton are among some of the fastest growing cities. Now, you can read into that as well that even though that's the fastest growing city, there's lots of financial opportunities. Builders are offering great incentives, but that also comes with some road traffic concerns. Maybe the infrastructure is not there that you're looking for. But if you value those things and highly value those things like infrastructure, you want to have a Lowe's nearby or a grocery store nearby. Those amenities are in the areas of Collin County, like Plano, Allen, McKinney, parts of Frisco. That's all there. The bottom line in all of this is that we've got a strong long-term future in North Dallas. It is a wise investment to invest in real estate, whether it's an investment for your own home or an investment in terms of rental opportunity, wealth building. But we have sustainable, healthy market conditions that will allow us to move into the future. Nothing radical happening in North Dallas over the next few years. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end. I'm going to take some questions now. If you need to get a hold of us, we're here to help you. We're here to help you walk through your different options, talk to you a little bit about some, concession strategies, financial strategies. But let me check the chat window and just see where we're at. One sec. Oh. All right, I think I've closed that sharing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Should buyers really care about interest rates versus the home price? In actuality, is what I was touching on there when I said it's important for people to understand their own affordability, and so there's a lot that goes into that. It includes the price of the home, the amount of money that you're putting down, or the resulting mortgage that you're going to be carrying, and the interest rate. So the answer to the question is a little bit of everything. It's important for you to focus on what you're affordable and what your payment's going to be. And there are lots of tools out there that we can support you with. Good real estate agent has a tool called a net sheet that can help you understand what your obligations are for taking money to closing, including your down payment, what other costs are there for closing, but it also includes an estimate on what your monthly ongoing costs are going to be. I think that's probably one of the most important things. Next question says, should first-time home buyers be paying attention to which neighborhoods have more active inventory or more listings? Yes. So one of the things that happens is that people will go into, as an example, a new build opportunity. They'll take advantage of those financial incentives that are available in new builds. And then for whatever reason, whether it's relocation, whether it's a growing family or whatever, or maybe they find that they're living too far out and too far away from things and their commute is too long, they want to sell. And so our general advice here at Walpole Realty Group is that if you're making a purchase in a new build situation, it's a minimum 5-year commitment. And the reason we say that is that we need about 5 years to get past the new builds that are happening in that neighborhood. Breaking it down, if you're buying a new home today and you're in it for 3 years and then you decide to sell it and they're still building in your neighborhood, if you have the exact same house, your 3-year-old home versus a brand new one, and they're both at the same price, a buyer would naturally gravitate towards the brand new one. So for someone to sell their home in a brand new neighborhood against new builds, they have to underprice those new builds in order to attract people to those. So the 5-year commitment kind of allows people to kind of get past that new build competition if they choose to resell. So that's generally why we suggest that if you're doing a new build, you want to commit. Hence, answering the question is check out the neighborhoods, determine whether a mature neighborhood, big mature trees, established schools, fire stations, shopping, are all there and that's what you value versus going into a new neighborhood that may not have all of those things, may have some of those things and some of the risks associated with going into a new build. Okay, next question says, with homes receiving 95% of list price, is it because of a downward trend of housing prices or are agents getting more aggressive on comps? Actually, it's neither. It's more related to the inventory. The inventory is increasing, and that's the first rule of economics. It's the law of supply and demand. So as your supply increases and you have more inventory coming on, people naturally have more choice. And if a seller is motivated or needs to sell because of a relocation or whatever, they're going to drop their price in order to make that happen. So the 95% of list price is a result of more inventory hitting the market, more competition being out there, and the sellers being willing to accept less in order to get their home sold. All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to end it. This was intended to be just informative, but what I really want to offer is if you have more questions coming in, um, I would encourage you to contact us directly. Just one last question that came in that I think is really relevant as I'm concluding here. What are the differentiators that Walpole Realty Group has from other brokerages or other teams? And one of the things we take pride on is our integrity and our honesty. That really comes from a faith-based business that we have, and we bring it into everything that we do, and it's not just a weekend kind of thing. So sometimes that means we have to deliver difficult messages, and so but we will always give you an honest opinion on things, honest advice, and we have the client's interest in mind above all, above whatever it means for us. And so that's one of the things that differentiates us. Our response time is something that we take great pride in. If you reach out to us by text, email, or a phone call, you'll get a response usually within an hour. And sometimes that response might be, hey, I'm tied up right now, but I'll get back to you in a few hours. But you'll always get a response from us. We take pride in being very responsive to our clients, and that's a unique differentiator for us. There are some things in our selling and buying techniques that are really good differentiators for us. We're happy to go through that more at another time. So if you want to learn more about us, visit our website. It's really simple, walpolerealtygroup.com. Go there. You can check out the team, who's on the team. You can check out what people say about us in our reviews. Generally, they say good things. And you can just learn about us, and then you can reach out from us there as well. But easy way to reach out to us is hello@Walpole Realty Group. That's an email address that you can use to contact us at any time. Okay. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your questions, for all of those that participated and others that have attended. I hope you found that informative. If you have additional questions or you want a conversation, feel free to reach out. We're happy to have a one-on-one with you. Okay. Have a great day.